So I'm recording on this computer. All right, so we're going to start from scratch and fork it over to my personal GitHub, clone it down, make it a separate branch off of master, and then start coding, and then just go through that entire process, just iteration, just keep on repeating, just so it's pretty much like second nature, that whole process. So I'm in my Platoon word guess. I'm going to fork it over to Tom Preet's personal GitHub right here. It's making a copy. Oh, that was kind of slow. Yep. So it's making a copy. It's scanning the original word guess from Mike Platoon into Tom Preet's word guess. There we go. So right now I'm going to git clone it, and I'm going to open up a new CP challenges. So I'm in my Mike Platoon or Mike challenges. I can list everything out in here. So I've got all my previous challenges in here. I can git clone. Let me zoom in. Whoop. Zoom in a little bit so you can see. So git clone. What did it say? Word guess already exists in this. All right, well, I don't want word guess to already exist in here. So how do I remove? Because I don't know, actually, I don't remember ever cloning this down in here. So I just want to start completely fresh. Does anybody remember how I delete a folder from the command line?
rm-rf.
rm- like recursively force word guess. List everything out. Word guess used to be here. Now it's gone. I'm going to clear the screen or clear the terminal. Now I can do git clone word guess. List everything out. There's my word guess. I'm going to cd into word guess. And now I'm currently in the word guess repository. It already has a Git repo attached to it. So I can code and open this up, reload my VS Code with the word guess right there. So let's actually read what's going on. Again, remember, please read the README before you jump into coding. I know it's really easy and to just jump into coding, trying to code the solution, but make sure you read all the requirements. There might be some, helper articles or documentation in there that can help you in specific areas where we think you might get stuck. So the goal of this exercise is to refactor the included word guess py file to get its words from the included words.csv file. So run Python 3 or just Python if you already have Python 3.8 or 3.7 as the default version of Python to start the game. Choose a difficulty level and then try to guess the word one letter at a time. You win when you complete the word. You lose if you run out of guesses. We also have a debug mode. The word guess class initializer accepts an optional Boolean value, true, to put the game in debug mode, which will reveal the chosen word at the beginning of the game. So before I go ahead and read the requirements, I'm going to try to execute the game just to make sure everything works. And then I can come back, and once I need to get the words from the CSV file and read some more requirements. What questions do you have about the objective of this word guess exercise? All right. So I'm going to open up this word guess Python file. So the game is already written for you. There's really the only thing you have to do is to refactor this class to get the words from the included CSV file. Before we start, I just want to make sure that this actually runs. So I can run Python. What does it say? So I'm just going to copy and paste this. If you don't have to, so word guess, okay, it started. This can be an easy, medium, or really hard choice. The choice is yours. I'm going to choose easy. Guess a letter A, E, so all right, B. And because I can already see all the words, what do we got? So it's an easy word. Where is there an E? So it's probably 10. There we go. Cool. And then what's really nice, what you should do, or what's a good practice to get used to, is when you're given some already existing code, you should probably walk through it and see how the program works. So if we come in here, we have this class with word guest. We have a class variable called tries, which is an object, easy, medium, and hard. And this just tells you how many tries at each level. Inside the init, we have an optional parameter we can pass in, which is a Boolean value, which is true or false, but the default value is false. And it sets the self.debug value to this default false value, or if you do decide to pass in a true Boolean, it sets the debug value to true. We also have the self.words, which is a object with easy, medium, or hard, followed by the words in that easy, medium, or hard level. We also have a self.mode. So it asks the user to set the game mode that executes the set.mode instance method. So I'm going to go down and look for self.mode. So it says self.mode, mode, empty string, well, mode, not an easy, medium, or hard. Input, this can be easy, medium, or hard of your choice, return mode. So if it's not, so what my guess is if mode, I'm going to self.mode. Okay. So if let's just try that again. My guess is if I do like something like it's just going to return this again. So if I try to guess or put something other than easy, medium, or hard, it's just going to return, it's just going to keep executing this. So if I K, whatever, but I need to go easy. So this sets the mode, easy, medium, or hard. So if we come up here, that's the self.mode. Self.word, we have random choice. So this probably chooses, so choosing a word, players try to guess this. So based off of what mode I pass in, so easy, medium, or hard, it gives me this entire array of words based off of easy, medium, or hard, and then it selects a random choice from that array of words, and that's the word we have to try to guess. Again, self.guesses returns how many tries a player needs. Self.user word, we have a list. So we have the little, what is that? A bullet point followed by the length of the word. And then we also have to keep track of all the letter guesses. Self.debug. So the goal is to just go through everything, just follow the flow of data. Self.play turn, go down to play turn. So play turn right there, and just kind of run through the logic of how the game is actually working. So you kind of know what's going on. Now it's not necessary because you're not messing with anything. We're just kind of messing with the self.words, but it's a good habit to get into to understand what the code you're working on actually does. So what questions do you have about, trying to understand the code, the program you're working on before you actually kind of jump into manipulating things? It's a really good habit to get into, because when you go on your first job and they're like, hey, there's this bug somewhere in our code, find it and fix it. Like, it's your job to go in there and, all right, well, first I have to understand what the program actually does, and then I can actually start tackling, like, trying to find the bug and where it actually is happening. All right. So we kind of know how the game works. We know that it does work. So alter the game to get its word from the provided words.csv file. The CSV file has 3 lines. The first entry on each line is the difficulty, and every other entry is a word for that difficulty. Example, E is the difficulty, and cat, hat, bat, rat, etc. are all the words for the easy level difficulty. The updated program should read the CSV and select a random word from the appropriate difficulty level. That kind of already does that for us. No other gameplay changes are required. So what we need to do is read from the CSV file. Read from the CSV file and essentially populate the CSV file's words and replace what's already hard-coded in here. So what I can do is just delete this, because I'm going to be repopulating that with the words from the CSV file. Now I need to actually read from the CSV file. But you know what? I forgot how to read from a CSV file. How to read from CSV file in Python. All right, we got some documentation. I like to use real Python. It's really good documentation. It's pretty, breaks everything down into pretty understandable chunks. All right. So it looks like we have import CSV. So I'm going to import CSV because we're going to need that. And let's see what we need. Do we want to, actually I'm going to go back to and just read the documentation from Python because that's also really good. So does anybody, so, all right. So I'm just going to do that. So where in this file should I open up the CSV file, read it, and extract the values from the CSV file? Where should I do that within my word guess game?
You can create a new method and then set your self.words to that method. So the return value of that method.
I can set, so I can create a brand new instance method, right? Or just like a total different like method up here outside of it. Where should I put the new method?
Oh, I was saying, so if you just create a new class, not a class method, but a new method within the class, and then you set the self.dict at the top, self.words, I'm sorry, equal to the method that you create, and then you just return the new dictionary with your method, and it'll go in there.
Okay.
Self.words.
Okay, I think I know what you mean by that. So I'm going to just create a new instance method called get words from CSV. This is going to be an instance method. So I'm just gonna, I copied and pasted this. What the hell is all that? Do that. I don't know what this stuff is. Don't know what that is. So with open, I don't want eggs. I want it to be called words.csv as, I'm going to describe the CSV file as like what I'm actually words CSV. Now, should I use a basic reader or a dict reader? Do I want it to be return everything as a ordered dictionary or an array? Does anybody have Heather? Do I want to, when I open up the CSV file and read from it, do I want to return everything as an array or as a dictionary using the dict reader method? Or just use a reader or dict reader? What did you and your team use yesterday?
A reader.
A reader. So we want to return everything as an array because the self.words is pretty much a dictionary of list of arrays. And since we're also not utilizing any headers, like that's what a dict reader is used for, is so you can have like the header as the key and the value is the value at the row after row 1. All right. So get words from CSV, open words. I'm going to say CSV or word reader, row word reader. And I'm just going to print. I'm going to print each row and see what happens. So I've got this new method, new instance method, and you don't have to do it. There's multiple ways you can do this, but you know, since we're gonna since someone pointed out that they want to do it using an instance method, we can do it that way, or then I'll show you like another way to do it as well. So if get words from CSV, and right now, just to test this out, in my init method, I'm going to execute this self.get words from CSV, and that immediately executes this right when I start the game. So if I go up here, I want to make this kind of big because something crazy is probably going to happen. It prints out the entire row, and it could take some time. So it printed off everything. And then it started the game. Cool. But I don't want to just print each row. Whoop. Maybe I want to see the length of each row before, just because this is a really long line and I don't know how long it actually is. So I'm going to run everything again. Cool. So the first row, which is medium, has a length of 143,000 or over 143,000. Easy has a length of just under 17,000, and hard has a length of words of like 12,500. Cool. So now, all right, I've got the length of the words, but the way this was initially, it was like easy. Whoop. It was a dictionary followed by, you know, a bunch of words. Easy words, medium words, and hard words. So that's like the architecture there. That's the data type that we want to reconstruct. So if we know that the first element of each row represents the difficulty level, we can extract. I just want to print the first element of the row. So I can grab the entire row and just grab the value at index 0. So I'm going to clear that. I'm going to clear the terminal. I'm going to execute this again just to see if I can able to extract the medium, easy, and hard. So I've got the medium, easy, and hard right there. So, but now I want to be able to like assign that to like another dictionary, because I want to get words from CSV. I want it to be return a dictionary. So I'm just going to create like words object and set it to an empty object. And now I want to assign a new key, which represents the medium, easy, or hard from each row. So how do I go about setting a new key on this words object utilizing the medium, easy, or hard values that I'm printing out right here? I'm gonna call on somebody. Lou.
Yeah.
So how do I go about setting, so I've got this words object and I'm right here, I'm looping through each row in the CSV file and I'm printing out the value at index 0. That's what I'm printing out right here. How do I set the value, medium, easy, or hard, onto this words object? Are you talking? Because you're muted. Uh-oh. Lou, you're muted.
That's weird. I was pressing space.
I usually use Command-Shift-A to mute and unmute.
Oh, okay, okay. So I was saying that append is for dictionaries. Can we do add?
So append is for arrays or lists, right?
Yeah, list, yeah.
So you were saying, can you do add? Is that like another thing? Is that a built-in method?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, let's check it out. How to add, or add method.
Wait, it might not be.
So it looks like it's for a set. So let's Google how to add key to dictionary Python. So it looks like, oh, there we go. Add. What is this? And we might be able to do it. What's the output? So, okay. We have add as the first element. Well, I'm guessing is the key, and the second element in the add method is the value. Never used this before, but let's check it out. So it's words object dot add, and now we want to grab the first element. And now what's the second value? What's the value of at that key? It should be an array, a list of all these words in this row.
Yeah.
All right. Julius, how do I add the remainder? So I've already added medium, easy, and hard as a keyword on this words object. How do I add the value or the list of words as a value for that key?
I believe it would just be row bracket 1 colon.
What does that do? What does bro bracket 1 colon do?
It takes the rest of that array starting at the first index.
Exactly. So row, it's like you're slicing or splicing the entire row starting from the first index, which is inclusive. So we're including this first row, and the colon just means going to the very end of the row. You can also do like length of row as well to go to the very end, +1 or something. But this syntax should work. So if we do that, when we loop through it, at the very end, we should return the words object. So that should be it. But now we just have to replace this self.words and execute this get words from CSV file or from CSV. Does anybody have any questions about opening up the CSV file, reading from it into this words reader, and then creating an empty object, which is going to be a dictionary of keys that represent the easy, medium, or hard, and the values being the array of words in the CSV file.
Hey Tom, with
Yep.
the words object that you created inside your CSV method here, I guess.
Yep.
Is that available outside of your with, or is it only available within with?
So it's available outside of here. It should be. Because yeah, I think it should be. Let's check it out. Because if it is, and if it's not, we can always how we can do this is let's check it out. Clear. Oh, hold on. Line 18, right there, executing that. So dictionary object has no attribute add. So this add might not actually work. So this is where the error is coming up. So we actually do, oh, hold on a second. I'm gonna actually, if I actually take this, put it here, maybe it'll work. So maybe it might not be available outside of it. Okay. So it has no attribute add. So it looks like this words.add doesn't work. Is there another way? And we'll get to your question to see it. We'll test it to see if it actually works. But yeah, it should, because this isn't necessarily a method in and of itself. So is there another way we can add a key and the value to a words object?
Hey Tom, this is Dylan here.
Yep.
Would we do words obj square brackets row 0?
Words object square brackets. Yep.
And then equals that splice there?
Yep. So that's another way. So we can literally just add a new key to an object by doing words. So the name of the dictionary followed by square brackets and creating a new dictionary like this. I can show you that by just doing words object, say like A equals something, and print words object. And up here, before I do this, I just want to make sure that's actually working. So right here, there we go. So key A value is something. So same syntax, but now we're just actually appending. We're making it a little more dynamic because maybe we want to like add an entirely new row called like super hard and like some other crazy. See, this is the the reason why it's changing colors is because of the that extension that I'm typing in. All right, so let's run this again. So I've got this, created a method called word, get words from CSV file, created a words object, creating it, having it being empty. I'm opening up the words.csv file as like a words.csv file variable. And then I'm using the built-in csv.reader method. I'm passing in the entire CSV file, assigning it to a variable called word reader. Now for row in word row, I'm assigning I'm extracting the very first index, the value index 0, assigning the key or that value as a key on the words object. And then the value of that key is all the words in that row, starting from at index 1 to the very end of the entire row. And once it loops through it, I'm returning the words object that should have 3 keys, easy, medium, or hard, with the value of all the words. And I'm executing that get words from CSV file method right here and assigning, which returns an object. And I'm assigning that object to self.words. So what questions do you have about that logic right now? So if I execute this, it should work. Hey. Jeez, I suck at this. Cool. Oh, something's wrong. So I've got one guess left. Oh, there we go. I kept guessing the same amount of letters. So if I wanted to review or put it into debug mode, I can pass in true. I can see the word. So if I want hard, I can see the word. I don't even want to pronounce that. INC, etc. So that's one way we can do it. But we can also just throw this entire, so this is a good way to do it, creating its own instance object or instance method, and then calling it like so. You don't have to necessarily do that. You can even just put this entire thing up in the instance, the init method, like so, and then you can do self.words. Same thing. So if I execute that, oh, right here. Same thing. Does anybody have any questions about extracting data from a CSV? Nope. All right.